always got some drama. Oh my god, there's so drama over the Odyssey. Oh man. So I'm happy I'm not on Twitter or X. Oh my god, dude. There's so many fucking people just complaining about everything. Where am I going? Alright, I got my warthog. Where you at, warthog? There it is.
Find me something to kill!
Lauren! On the gun!
Man, this warthog slides so much. There's like no fucking traction at all.
Contact! Coming to you! Get him out, boys!
Interesting. The word on the Covenant BattleNet is find and expunge the putrid apes. Sounds like we made quite an impression.
Hello! That's the last
We need to find the other 2 lifeboats.
I'll try to. This warthog has like the worst grip in the fucking world.
Survivors detected. Marines are concealed in those rocks. Alert! There are jackal snipers on the high ground. I recommend you stay out of their line of fire.
They're everywhere!
Are they?
Pour it on! All yours.
Wrong button. Let's go there. Let's go first.
I got the gun!
Ah! I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing that.
There was the enemy.
Clear here!
Spirit incoming! I got a bad
Go and chase that hotel. Military hiding place. Jump!
You ain't got pretty fast fucking sprint like that.
Enemy troop carrier inbound.
inbound!
I just look like I can switch with grenades. Great, bitch.
You're gonna die.
All clear.
I've located the final lifeboat. I'll give you a nav point to the beacon. Warning, I've picked up reports that the Covenant have located and secured the Pillar of Autumn's crash site. The good news is the captain is still alive. The bad news is that the Covenant have captured the entire surviving command crew.
Yeah, these people on the internet with this whole Odyssey thing, they care so much about this shit. It always, I don't know, it's always just kind of funny. Like, these people are so deep into this, like, shit. Like, it's Greek mythology. Like, Greek mythology is, it's always been very, all over the place. You know, it's always the gods and monster type shit. But you ever really look at it, like, people are, like, getting super upset about it and that. Like, why? Most of them are women. I've been noticing a lot of women have been, like, really poking at it a little bit more. Like, one of the ladies that poked at it, that Star Wars girl, which she's really fucking hot, honestly. I think she's super attractive. She does a lot of cosplay shit. Go figures. Gotta make money somehow, honey. And like, she was really going the deep dive of it and that. And like, oh, she named her, she named her daughter after one of the, I don't know if it was one of the gods or whatever, the fake demon gods. If people think they're gods, they're just paganistic gods. They're not actual, like, gods. They're just fake gods. Why would you give your name of your daughter after a paganistic demon god? The people are like, what do you mean? Them gods, you know, Zeus, they're fake.
Survivors detected beneath that tower. Let's find a way down.
Yeah, like, and they're getting super fucking, like, upset about that, like, why? And like, that Star Wars girl was going fucking ballistic on that shit. And I was sitting there like laughing my ass off in that a little bit, like, whoops. Well, unfortunately, that was Come on, Master Chief, you can do better than that. You're not that retarded. Anyway. I'm not against this person at all, though. Like, what she said, you know, I think was more or less true.
Covering fire! Oh.
Everything's buttoned down, people.
What? Look at me! I'm a dead alien! I'd like more bullets in my brain, please.
But yeah, it's just really stupid fucking shit. Actually, I don't know how loud this fucking shit is. Well, everything's up a little. I'm just gonna turn everything down a little bit. There. But anyways, like she was kind of like talking about like how the story actually wasn't that, and she's like, "Oh, I read the story multiple times," and I was like, "I'm a big fan of mythology and Greek mythology," and I said,
The enemy has captured Captain Keyes and are holding him aboard one of their cruisers, the Truth and Reconciliation. The ship is currently holding position above the other end of this plateau.
So how do we get inside the ship if it's in the air? The Corps issued me a rifle, not wings.
There's a gravity lift that ferries troops and supplies between the ship and the surface. That's our ticket in.
Touchdown in 10 seconds, people. We're in Covenant territory now.
According to the topographic surveys I've obtained from the Covenant Battle Network, we should be able to access the Covenant cruiser Truth and Reconciliation on foot. Head through the series of plateaus and foot trails up ahead.
Hit it, Marines! Go, go, go! Corps ain't paying us by the hour.
Stick to the higher ground to the right. We should be able to recon the Covenant position without being spotted. Get ready to move in to support us, Sergeant. The Master Chief is going to covertly take out as many of the Covenant as he can. Don't open fire until you hear the enemy return fire on us. That should let us keep the element of surprise.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want the element of surprise. Do I need it?
Alert! A Covenant is making a run for that stationary gun. Take him out!
No! like how you die, but like naturally.
Cover me.
Open fire! Let him open fire!
Like in the actual like like the actual like or not comics but story in that like Master Chief's shield is ridiculous. Like their shields are so fucking
Stop.
powerful.
Motion tracker shows movement around the next bend.
Oh really?
Let him have it!
Covenant forces detected up ahead. The path up on the left should let us sneak up around them.
We'll hang back while you get into position.
Cortana to Fire Team Charlie. Move up on the left. You should be able to flank the enemy.
Affirmative, moving up now.
What about full mask? What ammo?
Uh-oh, another bandit dropping in behind us. They're trying to flank us. Look, sir. We're on a dropship. Use some help over here. Enemy reinforcements by air.
Confirmed kill.
What's wrong with you?
Going in. Don't bother getting up.
What's wrong with me? I'm retarded. You know that? Well, you let that retard hold that gun.
Press the attack in the Prophet's name.
We're directly under the ship now.
Good work, Marines.
All right, are we bad or what? Mother of God. I never thought I'd get this close to one of these things. How the hell are we going to get inside that monster?
What? What are you doing up here, puppy? Yeah, what are you looking at, Daddy? We'll go get him. What's Daddy doing? What's the Daddy doing, huh? But anyway, I'm gonna kind of continue what I was talking about. But yeah, that Star Wars girl was kind of she's really going in detail about it, and that which she should, because The whole point of the Odyssey, it's a fucking story based upon Odysseus. And Odysseus is a person that actually did exist. Now, now all the stuff that happened to him, we could always say that it was always like, kind of just made up a little bit. Because back then, there's certain things that were like, specific things that happened back then. But with all the gods and that, I'll tell you the truth, that was all just fundamentally just made up. And then here's why. Because when Lord Yahweh talks about the Greek gods, he talks about them as in like they existed to mortals as gods, but they weren't gods. They were, the fallen angels. They were mimicking what a god should be like. That's why there were so many different ones, and people have to really understand that. Instead of just going out there and like get all piss vinegar over this stuff, which is whatever you want to do. But to me, it's like it's kind of pointless. People get really fucking upset over really stupid shit. And so they're like, it's just a fucking movie. It's like, oh, but the way they framed it and that they should never did it like this and that. And like, I kind of understand where you're going. I don't think people should frame stuff differently, but that's the whole point of the fucking story. So some chick, of course, you could always say the women that make stories that are normally lonely women with cats and they're probably not married or whatever it is. That's what we always assume. But when it comes down to it, these people and that, they're bored, and they want to change the story up a little bit. They want to go to the perspective of a woman's perspective, which is fine. You do what the fuck you want to do. It's a story. It's not technically 100% fucking real. It's not like the Bible. And the Bible is 100% real. Everything that's been said in that Bible has been proven to be exactly what they said back then. People say, well, they interpret it differently. Well, interpretations are just different because of, certain things, yeah. But people still have the original Hebrew text from, but it's only been, say 2,000 years. Most of these Bibles were made translations the last 400 years. So it's closer to when it was made. But still wasn't even fully made. Like the Gospels weren't fully developed all the way until later on after Christ died and that. But the true accounts that, Jesus actually existed were from many different people. And how people interpret it, obviously they interpret it many different ways. Because it's all from their own eye perspective. Everyone has different ways of, looking at things. So if you go to like the Odyssey, it's made, the story was written by some guy named Homer. He lived a long time ago. They always pass down the story in that. But when you look at it from that perspective, when that story was passed down, it's passed down from Greek mythology to to other Greeks and their mythology. So everyone interprets everything differently. Just evidently, the book wasn't rewritten until the last 10 years ago. And that's what makes it very interesting. Throughout the thousands of years, you had one person supposedly rewrite what the Odyssey actually was. Why would you do that? And why is it always a woman? It's like why do these women always want to sit there and rewrite something in their own way? Can't you just use your own? Can you make up your own stories? Like the chick that made Harry Potter, completely fabricated from her own mind. She made a beautiful story about wizards, even though they're all demonic Satanism. I mean, of course, you can't say people are bad just because they follow what Satan does, because most people do. They don't even notice. Doesn't mean that they actually worship Satan. It's like when people talk about Satan, you look on the internet and that you look up, you talk to the AI and that you talk about Satanism. And like, well, Satanism it's not about murdering kids and all that shit. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And like, do you really think Satan's gonna fully? Satan doesn't. Satan lies about everything. He said, I'm not here to harm kids. You guys have to understand why Jesus put down Lucifer, Satan. His name got switched to Satan when he fell. As he's all lies. He's all lies for a reason. Because any amount of truth that he gives out, other than say that that Jesus is God, which he interprets that he is, but he doesn't care. He's like a temper tantrum child of the angelics. I would have to say it like that. He's very smart, but he wants things to be his way. But he knows inside his angelic heart that he's wrong. But his pride is so powerful it condemns him to feel the warmth from God. This is how it is with the Odyssey. People go to the source material and they're like, "This is a beautiful story," and the adaptations go clearly. There's been a lot of movies based upon this. There's one that popped up from like 1960s or something like that, and there's been other ones too. And like people just sit there and these adaptations keep coming up. I mean, they're just cash grabs. That's all they are, is cash grabs. These stories really don't mean nothing. But anyway, going to back to what I was talking about with that Star Wars girl. Now that Star Wars girl, she went really gun ho about it. And from my perspective, now, like, you believe in these mythologies like they're fucking true, and you confuse your mind from the truth that God actually gave you, His Son, and you guys are still paganistic people. Just back in the old days, look at this shit. Back in the old days with Moses, 5,000 years ago, people were staining their skin with Baal, with the golden calf. They were taking like ink and they were staining their skins or scarring their skin in that. They're mutilating themselves to a certain extent to give praise to something that has no power. It has no power over nothing. The power is not theirs to have at all. And like when you get these people that kind of do this stuff, and then you look in their minds, they're so far from the truth, and that's why this culture war is becoming what it's becoming. People are fighting against stuff like, let Hollywood do whatever they want to do. Yes, it's all for good content because they're making money. I said, well, if that's the thing, you're making money off of yelling and screaming or more or less having conversations, having a good old time making fun of something because you want to have your opinions matter. And you want people that, don't do these, channels that have normal jobs, not actual fucking jobs, not just social media jobs, that are actually trying to be like, okay, well, what do I do? Like, okay, I go on these channels now, I listen to these people out, so you get 2 views. Like, I used to like to listen to Angry Joe. People are bashing him because he does that. Like, yeah, I can understand that. He doesn't shut the fuck up. He's an overly rich, spoiled rotten dude that has his life is entertained by the internet. And I think Joe should just shut up about his politics because no one else talks about politics. People bring up politics every now and again, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like for instance, while the lady at my job and that I have a little bit of a thing for. She's just like really attractive. Like her body's like fucking very very attractive, and she's got like this cute little like dimple look to her nut. Well, anyway, like she brought Trump and that, and she was just like, and then these people fall for Trump's like jargon a lot. And she was like, well, CNN was giving him about LeBron James, and Trump said LeBron James is racist, and like, and she was like thinking in her mind because he's black, I guess. You could say that he's probably mixed because not everyone's completely 100% African anymore, but to be the purpose that Trump called a black person racist, which is true. A lot of black people are fucking racist as fuck. They're hella racist. They know they are. Super racist. Not even towards fucking whites. They hate fucking other black people. It becomes really funny that. So it doesn't even matter. Like, you just don't like that. You just don't like that. I mean, I know some black guys that literally just like, dude, I fucking hate ghetto black people. And even get some ghetto black people like, I hate these and that. What you guys doing? I'll take it home. I'll have to chase the squirrels. Well, they're gonna be back in soon. Yeah, they're just sitting there. I see Ruby Lion. She'll get out there and lay in the grass. Yeah, they're just sitting there. Come on, guys, get back in. Yeah, I don't want to go outside no more. But so anyway, like she was talking about this. I remember the interview of it. That he's like, well, they asked him a question about it, and that he's, and she was like, oh, Trump's the one that brought it up, and I said, yeah, he likes to do that and that because he likes to make fun of things and that. And I told her, like, yeah, it's because LeBron said a bunch of crap about him and that, and like told him, a lot of slurs and shit because that's what these people seem to do. But they don't want to be called certain things. And the reason why I was saying that, I was like, or I was trying to explain to her, and I'm like, it's like, do you not know that he just makes fun of people? Like, it's literally what he does. He triggers you guys. He triggers these news networks that they freak the fuck out. And then when we do interviews with them and that, they're all like, every time anyone does a loaded question, which is what they tend to do a lot of, they ask really stupid questions that have nothing to do with anything but to explain. Like, if someone calls someone racist, it's like, what do you mean by racist? Well, what does racism even mean anymore? Well, it means that you don't like her. So it's like saying, like, so if I'm German and you're French and you don't like me, you're a racist. Well, that's not what I'm saying. So you want to have it a specific way. It's like, how about you guys just shut the fuck up and stop caring? People need to stop explaining shit. Like, if a woman comes up to me saying, oh, you're a feminist toxic person, I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Your nonsensical talk doesn't help anything. Because anything that's negative comes from Satan and his fallen angels, which is literally what these people do. They get super fucking mad when people give them the actual truth. Because that's what Jesus stated. When you give people the truth, they can't handle it because they're full of lies. They have to constantly make up shit to clarify themselves. Ain't nothing to clarify. You're just a lying piece of shit. You lie and make up shit. Now, you do tell the truth when it's necessary, but you just say stuff because it's part of the programming that people have put upon you. You don't think that you're not programmed. You are programmed. Because you're programmed because you can't make money in certain parts of the atmosphere of the world if you don't be part of the program. That's why all these news medias or outlets, they have to make up bullshit. Even though they don't like, say a lot of people don't like the honesty, they have to make up bullshit because they still want their premiere. They still want that luxury of having something. It's just like people get that point where they're getting tired of, sitting there and saying, I have to do this, I have to do. No, you don't do shit. Because of money? That's literally why they do it. So, you want to lie and corrupt your spirit, your soul, just because of fucking money that many of these people have millions of dollars of? They crave it. They crave the popularity. They crave the attention. But the thing is, you're not popular if you really think about it. You're only popular in the circle that you dive in.
No, he ain't going back outside. No. She just run right back in.
Come on, guys. Go. Go on, babies. What are you guys doing? Go upstairs and go poop on something. Go with Mama. Oh, that's the reason why they're downstairs. But I've been really, thinking about these things and using the Bible to clarify it, which is the most beautiful thing in the world. When you use Jesus' words to clarify the stupidity of, honestly, people, and how Satan makes these people say some really outrageously dumb shit, it gets to the point. It's pretty simple. When you lie, you're covering up something that you don't want anyone to know, right? Okay. So if someone gave me $1 million and said, hey, I want you to say a bunch of shit bad about someone, I said, well, if this stuff is bad, why would I want to say it at all? But the grift is the money. Many people would sit there. It's like, well, it's all about surviving. I said, you don't survive on bread alone. You survive on the truth that God gave you. When you sit there and you make up these things, you're corroding yourself to think that God is not there for you. And you believe in the human interactions, which normally have directional lines with the demons that push these agendas. Do you think the hierarchy of people is just watching news media all day? Those people have hierarchies. Those people have people that tell them what to do, and those people that own the businesses that get told what to do from other people. It always runs like this. Their beliefs is what drives this stuff forward. That's why people always do these things, because sometimes it's not even just about the money. They know how people work. Satan knows he can give you $1 million. You'll do the stupidest fucking shit ever. As long as you corrode Jesus' name, he doesn't care. He's like, here, have this. And people say, well, what does God do? God gives you the same thing in the retrospect, but he doesn't give it to you in quick notions. He gives it to you in a notion that actually makes sense. Like what King Solomon said, your financial, people have financial burdens because, number one, they don't keep track of their finances at all. They literally just blow their fucking money on how they feel. Instead of sitting there and actually developing some type of way using your intellect to look at things, other than that, keeps you busy so you don't buy shit. People buy on impulse. So there's a reason why. Because, well, you could say that you're fucking stupid. You don't do anything with your feelings. Your feelings are all over the place to begin with. I try to say, if people don't have a lot of logical sense, they use their emotions for everything. But their emotions are still based upon a belief. So if they believe in misogyny and all this bullshit and that, they're going to look for the trigger words. They're going to look for, if a man does this, I'm going to yell at him and make up a bunch of fucking shit that someone told me because, it's passed down from, brainwashing to other brainwashing of people and that. And so they all regurgitate it. I remember I used to be like this, when COVID was around that. I said, someone coughed on my family and that. I was at a restaurant and that, when COVID was going around, when it wasn't really that bad, but like people were just, on a little bit alert. This is when I was a fucking lib-based fucking retard. Like I was completely saturated with Satan. Even though I knew Jesus was real, I still was tainted by his bullshit because I never really read the Bible that much. I never really understood it. Like I heard about it and that when I was younger and I had preachers read it to me and that, but I never really gave a fuck. I wanted to have fun, but now when I really look at it, They were lies. I was that kind of a dude. I would sit there and be like, oh man, I would knock someone out and get a big ass fight with someone. I would go, oh my god, you're not wearing a mask type shit. You should all be wearing I'm not even joking to you. I wasn't like super bad, but then the logic sense hit. Then I start noticing that you had a lot of like professional people come out and being cut off the internet, and made me think like, dude, these guys are professional like doctors and that, and they're being cut off the social media and try to tell the truth. And it clicked. Like, I'm a truth seeker. And eventually it came down and she was like, man, these fuckers are lying. And then my life grew from that. And I actually started to understand more. It grew even more when I started to understand Jesus. Jesus is just sitting there waiting for you to come to him. He's like open arms. God's literally waiting for you to have that relationship with you. And it's not about praying for things. This is the biggest thing, the biggest contradiction why we have these issues in our world. People want to look at God as like he's a big bank. He's like, hey God, you're like the biggest, richest person around. You act like he's some like Django dude, like hey, like they do on fucking Family Guy and that. No, that's not how God is. It's not saying God doesn't have a sense of humor because he created a sense of humor. He created all the things that we do, how we talk, what we talk about, and that all those things were fabricated with him. So we really have to look at it from these perspectives of how powerful God actually is. And then people want to interpret it in many different ways. You just want to hate on something, just hate on it. It's because you don't understand it as a fucking human, which you're just retarded to begin with. And you barely live for mindfully maybe 70 years. And you think that you're intelligent because you could just burp out a whole bunch of bullshit because someone else said it. God doesn't need to research. God already knows. And what God knows is what we don't know. You know, Jesus always says when the devil was tempting him, he says, don't test thy Lord. Don't, the words of Deuteronomy, he says, don't test thy Lord, God Almighty. Don't test him. Because there's nothing to test. He knows everything. He's sitting there just watching you. Everything and all things. Waiting for us to give faith and speak out against the corruption. And the more, the more people are faithful and they speak the truth of God, they speak the truth of the world itself, the spirit world shifts. Things start to happen. I went from an atheist person to fully believing in Christ 100%. So when I see paganistic people with the Odyssey now, that Star Wars girl, she's actually a really cool person. I never met her in person, but obviously it doesn't matter. Sitting there and she's, belch out all this crap about, the Greek mythology, and that's fine but why do you believe in things that are fucking falsehood? Like, for your own specific self and that you could be obsessed with something, but that obsession means you believe in it. That you believe in it. You believe in something that is false and demonic. And no one wants to fucking talk about that. No one ever wants to talk about how demonic Greek mythology is. How Satanist it is. That these people are really worshiping fucking demons. And they're sitting there and the Bible tells you about Zeus. It tells you about the falsehood of the Egyptian gods. In the Old Testament, it talks about it. It constantly brings it up. And these people are walking into this stupidity, and they're getting mad about it. I don't give a fuck about the Odyssey. Yeah, it's a good story, but it's not real. It's a fucking story, guys. The shit's not based upon complete real mythology. That's what's called a fucking myth. Where's the proof of Zeus and all these gods? I want to fucking know. I want to see every single one of them. Where the fuck is Athena at? Why aren't these gods actually exist in the real world when motherfuckers keep talking about them? Oh, why? Because Yahweh said No, and all the gods bow down to him. So who's the one that's ruling everything? It surely ain't these fake gods you keep talking about from Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology. Myth means many things. It means that it stand as in being somewhat realistic, but the truth of it is, it was complete bullshit. It's complete bullshit. And people are screaming about this shit and say, you shouldn't be worried about a fucking story that happened 3,000 years ago that many people know. That a lot of it was made just like Dracula. You figure that Vlad Tepes was a king, and his kingdom was fallen, and it was trying to fall to Islamic fucking basically terrorists, Islamic, baby eating fucking warriors that slaughtered children and women, which is basically what the main story of it is. Because he was Christian, Bram Stoker, his retarded ass, an Englishman, didn't even live in the region of Vlad Tepes, corroded his name and said Vlad the Impaler. Now, yeah, he was Vlad the Impaler.
It's cool in here. Well, probably because that's concrete. So you only got that wall that's
Well,
concrete.
I mean, it stays cool in here until I leave my PlayStation on. Once it gets cool in here, it stays cool.
Yeah.
It's just when I have my electronics on, like,
Oh yeah, it gets hot.
yeah, my But yeah, the reason why I kind of bring up all this stuff in that, because like I want to stay true to what is actually there. All the Anunnaki and all that stuff in that from Egyptian times. They bring it up that God gave these deities chances when He took over Jerusalem. God talks about this in the Old Testament. He's like, these are my people, and then He had other gods called I can't remember, Elohim. And he talked to these angelic beings, and he said, these are the things that you're going to do. Now, people always want to interpret it, and it's like, okay, well, what do you mean by that? It's like, because the other angelic beings that God created, he called them gods. Because in some sense, all angels are considered, in that hood of godliness because they're eternal and they have more power than we do by far. But when you really get into that, so there was multiple gods. Well, there wasn't multiple. There wasn't multiple gods in the sense of creators. There wasn't. There was one creator. And when you talk about it, and it does bring it up that he gave these people chances. That he gave these other gods. They called them gods, but they wanted the true. They wanted the main creator God. He gave them chances. He took Jerusalem and the Israelites to be his favorite people. He favoritized them. And all the other gods, Egyptian gods, the paganistic gods, they took over, certain regions of the world. But he stayed true to them. And at the end of certain things that started to happen in that, and the other gods got corrupted because they weren't holy. They weren't, the true God is all holy. His corruption is never, his sin never gets to him because it can't. Because, well, he's all powerful. He's God. And people get really upset about it. That's why these gods existed back then to a certain extent. They weren't fully gods. Because when people look at Yahweh, even all the demons and all this stuff, he loves everything. It doesn't matter. It's not like he hates Lucifer. He loves Lucifer. He wanted Lucifer to come back to him, but he fell and he can't accept him back because he already knew God's grace. He already knew God up front. He talked to God all the time. He was with Jesus and the Holy Spirit in that since forever. And that's why, God did what he did. And that's why the story always comes down to Lucifer thought he could do better. He wanted to be like God because of his pride and his beauty. But when it came down to it, he wanted him to repent before he got too far. But he kept on rebelling. See, the thing of it is, like, Lucifer doesn't know everything. The demons don't know everything. They're only granted certain wisdoms. This is why it's really important to understand why these gods existed back then, why they don't exist now. They were a part of the plan altogether. And when they failed, all those gods, all the Elohim that were underneath Yahweh, they all fell to their knees and begged Yahweh basically for forgiveness, saying, you were right. We aren't eligible to do this stuff and that. We got corrupted, and they blessed him, all holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. And then, they went on their way, wherever they went to. I mean, you have to go to the Enoch and that, but Enoch is very up and down with the stuff and that. Talk about something way more important than all the racist shit out there. No one cares about that. I know why you said it, but still. This is why it's really important to know God and have a relationship with Christ. It's so important that because you don't know the truth of anything unless you actually understand where it all comes from. This is why we always have these issues with people that talk about stuff. They worship these things that are technically, and they push their beliefs to want to, oh, there we go, big farts. They stick to these things, they believe these things, and these people get all upset about this culture war. I said, fuck Hollywood. Let them make a bunch of transgender fucking shit and that. If people that believe in the truth of Christ, they're not going to watch that shit anyway. But my headset turned off. I need to get that timer to go away. But anyway, what I was trying to say is, like, talk about the Odyssey and that. People really go gung-ho about this culture war. They're like, oh, they're destroying movies, and then like they were supposed to destroy the movies. These people in Hollywood understand that they don't care as long as their message gets confirmed. The change started happening probably back in like early 2000s and that. They started making good movies and that. But, the Transformer and the gay thing, that shit just came out fucking nowhere. Like, people didn't really give a fuck about gay people. Like, people were like, actually, they were scared of gay people because they're like, it's very unorthodox. I mean, you shouldn't be scared. It's fucking weird. You got some full grown man talking about sucking dick and shit. Yeah, you should keep it to yourself. Okay? There's a reason why back then, when I grew up in the 90s and that people, bash gay people so much. Yeah, Because you're a fucking man. You're supposed to be talking about tits and ass, not talking about sucking dick. It's fucking weird. And all it is just mass perversion. Like, it's like you identify as a pervert. You look at the stages of pervertism. All men are perverted to a certain extent. It's like all women are perverted. But certain stages, because it depends on how you're raised. Some people are naturally just, they talk about perverted stuff just to say, because it's kind of funny. You can mix it up and do a lot of stupid shit. I do it all the time. And like, try not to get off topic of that, but this all goes down to the truth of why God gave us moral codes to follow, the Ten Commandments, and the stuff that the prophets were saying, and that basically Jesus was given to the prophets and about certain things, and the saints, Saint John, Saint Paul, Saint Peter, they talked about these specific things and that, and like when we sit there and we try to understand certain aspects of life, why do we change from being traditional to being non-traditional now? Well, that's because of Hollywood. I know. Hollywood runs the whole functioning belief system. Hollywood, when social media got big in that's when they knew. That's when they knew they could just throw in a bunch of stuff and slowly corrode people to seeing stuff from their perspective. They pulled you away from God and they gave you their own personal gods, which were celebrities. They believe they're so high and mighty. Dwayne Johnson's on steroids and that. He looks more jacked and more ripped than he ever did his whole entire life, even in his 20s and 30s and that. And all of a sudden you realize, oh yeah, the dude was taking shit ton of fucking gear. He had to get off the drugs and stuff like that because he was going to die. And then he shriveled up. And now they just put him in fucking muscle suits because he can't look jacked anymore like he did in Black Adam and that. And you say, oh no, he wasn't on steroids. He just ate healthy food and worked out a lot. I said, I know people that work out a lot, they don't get an ounce of fucking muscle. You want to know how to get muscle now? You work out enough, but your recovery has to be heavy. Like, you can go to the gym. Like, I watch, like, bodybuilder-based guys go to the gym and that. They don't even work out that fucking hard. They work out intensely to a certain extent, but they don't work out, like, they never do massively heavy weights. And I watch them. They do lightweight with mass control, and they make sure that muscle gets broken down. And then they go in and they recover super hard. I mean, yeah, those dudes, the dudes I'm talking about, I got them in my head right now, they're definitely on steroids. They're definitely taking Anavar, probably Deca and shit, because they're super fucking thin with a lot of muscle. Their body fat percentage is like fucking 5%, 6%. I look at that, I can see their fucking ribs and shit, and how detailed they are in that. They're super fucking skinny in that. And they work out just as hard as I do. But for some reason, their recovery is, beyond what I can do, because they're not doing natural recovery. I mean, I can admit I don't eat my daily protein sometimes. Probably better than I used to the last like month and that. But like these people, you can just tell. And people believe it. It's like, well, if you work out hard enough for that, you'll just get, no, man, it doesn't work like that. Your body's recovery system needs to happen. If you don't recover good enough, it's just like a belief. People believe in such stupid shit. The real chemistry of the human body that God created, it works in specific things. You have to feed it to get stronger. If you're not eating enough food, you're never going to build muscle. Never in your fucking life you're going to build any muscle. Because there ain't nothing in there to build with. So if you sit there and you work out so damn hard, and your muscles are hurting and screaming for 3 or 4 days straight, you need to eat a lot more food. And it's not even just the protein. The carbohydrates actually help you build your muscles just as much. It's just like, like today and that, well, it's really hot outside, but I'm going to do some workouts at home and that. Probably going to do some legs and that because, probably will. Might order me a pizza. I don't know yet. I'm deciding. But these are the things that that we have to look at. What is true and what is not true? That's basically what the word is. You get a lot of false truths out there that people say all the stuff, like say Dwayne Johnson's on steroids, like dude's on steroids. Michael Hearn, 100% steroids. Like the dude's been probably eating steroids since he was fucking, he's like 13 or 14 years old. And people could say about his family and that because his dad was a bodybuilder and that. Of course, you're gonna know about nutrition and that, know how to build muscle and that. I can't say the guy's really that smart because he sounds like an idiot. Like honestly, like he's just like the pretty boy. I've been a pretty boy my whole entire life type shit. And like the dude was 18 years old. I seen his pictures. Michael Hearn, when he was 18 years old, the dude was fucking 250 pounds of muscle. The dude was so jacked and so fucking. And it's like, yeah, I could see why that he was like that.
Use a gravity lift to move troops and supplies between the ship and the surface. We need to ambush them at the grav lift loading zone and use the lift to enter the ship.
Battle! That's us. You, the crowd, the expendables.
I'm hit! Keep it up! All clear!
Bastards.
You need to deal with those stationary guns. I recommend we clear out the gun emplacements on the ridges surrounding the pass. That should let the Marines advance.
I died. That sucks. I got weak Master Chief is.
The Covenant use a gravity lift to move troops and supplies between the ship and the surface. We need to ambush them at the grav lift loading zone and use the lift to enter the ship.
Battle! That's us. You, the crowd, the expendables. Sir, the freaking guns have us pinned down!
We need to deal with those stationary guns. I recommend we clear out the gun emplacements on the ridges surrounding the pass. That should let the Marines advance.
Like a Master
It's
Chief
always something.
dies so fast.
Kill them all!
Hunters, flank and hit their exposed worm bits.
Dude, he dies so fast in this game. I'm getting kind of tired of dying on normal mode with like one fucking fuck this shit. Won't play my other